Good morning, class. Today we're going to talk about the American Revolution and the enlightened thinkers' influence in the American Revolution as well as our government. Today, many of the Enlightenment ideas are evident in our government and in our laws. The Enlightenment influence in our government can be traced all the way back to as early as 1776 with the writing of the Declaration of Independence. Many of the authors were well educated in Greco Roman beliefs of law and also were very well informed on the Enlightenment ideas of the Enlightenment thinkers in Europe. Now, when it comes to the Declaration of Independence, Locke had the most influence in this document. The Declaration of Independence basically called for the obligation of the government to protect the people's natural rights to life, liberty, and property. Because the British government at the time only seemed to look at the colonies as a source of income, they didn't necessarily look after their own rights. The British government was mostly concerned with what was going on in England and how the American colonies could benefit the English and the British governments back over across the Atlantic. So the Declaration of Independence declared that not only was it the government's obligation to protect people, but also that the people themselves had a right to abolish the government if they failed to protect them, as is the case with the American colonies declaring their independence from the British government. Now, as far as the Constitution goes, Rousseau had the most impact. The authors pretty much decided to go ahead and create a document that was a social contract between the people as well as the government. This is clearly stated at the beginning of the Constitution with the phrase, "We, the people of the United States." It was a joint effort between the people as well as the government to make sure that all the citizens' needs and rights are met above all else. As far as the government structure itself, Montesquieu had the most influence. At the time, the colonies did not want the power to be centralized under one ruler or rulers. So as a result, they went ahead and adopted Montesquieu's idea of three branches of government. They included the legislative branch, the judicial branch, and the executive branch. The reason behind it, as I mentioned already, was because the colonists did not want one central power to have the entire influence on the newly formed government. Now, for your closure, based on these notes, which philosopher do you think had the most impact on our government? Please explain your answer. Once you are finished, please read the directions on the next slide, and with your partner, please go ahead and complete the timeline that traces the American Revolution.